welcome to another exciting episode of Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. I'm your host Avik, and today we are talking about a topic that so many of us are striving to master, like how to balance the demands of entrepreneurship, protect our mental health, and continue growing as individuals. So, our guest today is the true powerhouse in the digital marketing space, Ameet Khabra. So, welcome to the show, Amit.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Lovely, lovely. So, Amit, like before we start our conversation, I'll quickly love to introduce you to all of our listeners. Dear listeners, Amit is a former Google Partners ambassador and rising star with over 16 years of experience in PPC marketing. So, she has spoken at some of the world's top marketing conferences and runs her thriving remote agency, Hopskip Media. But beyond her impressive credentials, she is deeply committed to personal development and mentoring the next generation of diverse marketing talent. So, Amit, like, welcome to the show. I can't wait to dive deep into this topic today.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited.
Lovely, lovely. So, the entrepreneurial journey, challenges, triumphs, it's all there. So, um, quickly, like, you have built a thriving marketing agency with a fully remote team. So, what inspired you to take that leap and start your own business?
Uh, it was never really a plan, to be entirely honest. It kind of just happened, um, which is kind of it's a little odd for me to say because I feel like I always knew that I was going to end up running a business. Like back in high school, my friends, I think I opened up like an old yearbook and it said, I can't wait to watch you own a McDonald's and then eventually own the entire planet. Um, and it was just like really funny because I just sat there and I was like, oh, yeah, I had these tendencies back in the day too. And my friends saw it, but I just never really quite did. Um, so I went to school for or actually, I started school for, oh God, what was it? Business administration with a minor in entrepreneurial leadership. And then I realized that I hated macroeconomics and micro and didn't really care for any of that. So I ended up dropping out and just went straight into marketing with no intention of starting a business. It was just, here are the most credits that transfer over and let's just see what happens. And then very quickly after that, I somehow started a business and then I started using ads for that company. And then 3 years later, I kind of just decided that I didn't want to do that company because it was an event planning and I'm just not an event planner. Um, so then I started working for somebody and then eventually that turned into freelancing, which then eventually turned into a full-fledged agency a couple years ago. Um, so it wasn't planned, but it kind of was all at the same time.
No, lovely. Yeah. And okay, I have to say, like, uh, when doing this, many entrepreneurs start with excitement, but it quickly face challenges. So, what were some of the biggest obstacles that you have faced early on? And if you can also share, how did you overcome them?
So I guess like the most riveting story that I have for like an early on
Mm.
challenge is probably going into freelancing and 45 days later having to file a lawsuit against a client. Um, that was a lot of fun. Uh, uh, and it was just things that I looking back at it now, I should have seen the red flags and just taken a step back. But when you're starting out new and you're like you've got somebody who wants to give you money and pay you for the job that you're trying to sell, obviously you get really, really excited and you kind of forget about all the checks and balances that you should do. Um, so that was kind of like the biggest learning from it. But in terms of just moving on, honestly, it was just literally just moving on. We filed the lawsuit. Eventually, I think it was like 8 months later, everything was settled out. And then I just kind of continued. I just kept on going on my way. Because I think the realization that just because one person doesn't seem to think that you are doing a good job or whatever it might be, doesn't necessarily mean that's the general consensus. We see that everywhere. Sometimes we fail, sometimes we don't. And I think the people who are truly meant to, I guess, make it are the ones who kind of just persevere a little bit and understand that this is an isolated moment and not necessarily a theme or a pattern.
Oh, understood. And I mean, I have to say, like, that's such an important lesson because a lot of people think success is a straight line, but as you know, like it's full of twists and turns. So,
Mhm.
uh, what kept you motivated during the toughest moments of your journey?
I think for me, it's just more or less of knowing that I'm building something for myself, something that I've always wanted. Legacy is very, very important to me. Um, so I'm like less money motivated and more like, what do people think of me? How are they going to think of me when I'm gone? Which I totally understand is morbid. Um, but I just like, I don't know why. I've always kind of thought about those things. I've always sat there and said, I want people to continue talking about me and thinking of me and referencing me after I've left. And I think that's really my biggest motivator is just knowing that I'm leaving a legacy. Um, there's not many people who look like me in my industry, and I get messages from other people who are just starting out going, well, you're such an inspiration to us that we're going to continue going. And now I can see myself running an agency one day. And that's really, really meaningful to me. And I think that's really what keeps me going every single day is just knowing that in my own little way, I'm hopefully making lives a little bit easier and a little bit better for some people.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. And you lead a team of 9 people, all working remotely. So, what's been the key to creating a strong, connected culture despite being physically apart?
Well, I do like weekly videos for everybody. So like Monday, yeah, I guess Monday morning, message where we go over like what's happening with clients or if new clients are coming in. And I always end it with a rambling is what I like to call it, where I just talk about my own stuff, um, a random topic, maybe something happened to me over the weekend. And then everyone just kind of engages from there. And that really kind of starts that little bit of connection because then everyone's just laughing together. And then
Okay.
we also have a monthly, what we call a donut date, where we essentially just have like coffee dates with each other. So we get to know each other a little bit better. Weekly, we also do like fun little icebreaker games or questions and stuff like that. Um,
Oh,
so yeah, it's just a random tiny little things here and there that really have helped kind of create that bond with everyone within the company.
wow. Okay. So, like, also here one challenge with remote work is like keeping the communications clear and ensuring that everyone stays on the track. So, how do you balance autonomy with accountability with your team?
So we practice a thing where essentially let's say I'm giving you an instruction, um, the, like if I were to give it to you, the next step is for you to repeat it back to me just to make sure that we actually understand each other. Um, because I've noticed that like obviously in an office space, you can continue having these conversations, but when you're online, you're probably just texting each other. And naturally you don't want to leave like a novel for somebody. So you kind of do a TLDR version of it. So then I just have everybody just repeat it back. So that way everyone's really, really aligned on everything. We've got a really great project manager who follows up with everybody as well. Um, so yeah, for the most part, everything runs pretty smoothly. We use Asana for our project management tool, and that keeps everything really nice and organized. Slack is where we communicate mainly, and then obviously Google Hangouts for video calls. So it's just using a mix of all of that, just making sure that we are just communicating back what we heard from the person prior to, just to make sure that everything stays consistent and the work is completed, I guess. Yeah.
That's perfect. That's really perfect. And I mean, definitely that I imagine trust plays a huge role. So that's very yeah. So you clearly committed to the personal growth. So how has investing in your own uh development contributed to your personal and I mean the professional success?
Uh, my whole mantra these days, especially for the company, is if you're not good to yourself, you're not good to anybody. Um, I've had years where I burnt myself out, and you can see the quality of the work in that very easily. And it's not something that I'm particularly proud of, but it is what it is. It happened. Um, so now it's more so of just making sure that everybody takes their days off, me included. Every third Thursday, I take off as just a
Mm.
a me day type of deal. Lately, I haven't been doing a great job of it, but I do plan eventually at some point to do a bit better. But having that buffered in really just helps kind of stop a little bit of that pressure in my head. And then also starting my mornings a little bit differently now. I wake up maybe about 15 to 30 minutes earlier, but I don't start work until significantly later. And it just allows me to have like a nice quiet morning where I get to actually wake myself up and kind of get ready for the day versus like running into the office and trying to get stuff done. Um, and that I think has been really, really helpful. And then also making sure that I'm reading, like taking that time off from the computer and having like a physical book in front of me so that way I can kind of just again take some pressure off of my head.
Oh, okay, okay, that's great. And also, if you, I mean, on this journey, what happens is like many people hesitate to prioritize the self improvement because they are so much focused on the work. So, for them, what would you say? I mean, who feels like they don't have time for personal growth?
Uh, see, I think that's really where the a little bit of an issue is just the language of it all. I don't feel that, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't obviously know, but there's been times in my life where I felt like I didn't have the time, and it really was just me saying that I didn't want to prioritize it. Um, I think when you're really, really mo again, this is biased, but when I think when you're motivated enough, you will make that time, and it doesn't necessarily need to be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. It could be an easy 15 minutes every single day. You go for a walk. Um, it could be a 5-minute stretch. It could be, something that doesn't take a lot of time, and I think a lot of people just seem to think that self-care has to be all the way 100%, and, I'm someone who likes taking baby steps for everything, so, like, waking up 15 minutes earlier is a baby step for me. Eventually, I wanna be waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I just know that I can't do that right now. Um, so I wake up a little bit earlier, and I give myself a little bit more time, and then as I progressively get, like, used to doing that, that's when I start to increase it.
Yeah, okay, that's great. And like, I mean, what do you think the digital marketing industry needs to do become more inclusive and provide better opportunities for the underrepresented groups? What do you say?
Yeah, I feel like we're making some pretty good headway right now. It's just more or less of just taking the people who are underrepresented and the ones who are actually doing the work and doing a great job of them or job of it, amplifying them more so. And we've noticed that happening over the last couple of years. Um, and I think as we just kind of continue to just help promote those people, that I think naturally other people will start saying, oh, yeah, like that person looks like me, maybe I could do it as well. And my hope is that those people will reach out and just kind of have those conversations, if that's with me or if that's with somebody else. Because I think the beautiful thing about our PPC community, especially on like the LinkedIn side of things and even maybe Twitter, even though I'm not really on that platform anymore, is that everyone's really, really willing and happy to help everyone out. It's just more or less of you having that courage to be able to ask for that help, um, is really, like, I think, the biggest difference maker.
Got it. Understood. So, I mean, you are not just building a business; you are building something with purpose. So, how do you ensure that your work aligns with your larger mission and the values?
Making the right hires, honestly. I think it's just finding people who actually value the exact same thing. Um, I like to jokingly and lovingly tell everybody that I've hired psychopaths,
Okay.
because I'm one. And I was like, I've just basically, like, literally just hired mini doppelgangers of myself, and it's just kind of funny, um, to a certain degree. Uh, But, like, I think that's where the difference kinda comes in. You see the quality in our work is different. You see that we respond a lot faster, but, I also give everybody their time off, right? So it's not like the resting isn't only reserved for me, it's reserved for everyone. Even I think I gave 3 team members the day off today because they had a hard last week where I was like, "Okay, let's, try to create that space for you." Um, so yeah, I think I might have lost the question somewhere in between all of that, but but that's kind of, yeah, basically it.
Yeah, understood. Understood. Okay, so for the entrepreneurs like who feel stuck chasing profits, and but want to connect with something deeper, so what's your advice for rediscovering their purpose?
I think it's more or less of figuring out what that purpose is. Like for me, I think I got lucky in the sense
Okay.
that I kind of figured it out relatively quickly. Um, and I think it's just more or less of just sitting with yourself, just thinking about what's important to you and what you really uh,
Uh,
want to leave or what you want people to say about like, yeah, I know it's more of it, but what do you want people to say about you when you're gone? Um,
mm,
and for me, it's just someone who always tried her best. Um, and I hopefully will hear that. Like, I hope people think that I've tried my best, that I tried to be as inclusive as I possibly could have, that I was the leader that I wanted when I was working. Um, those are tiny little things, and then I sit there and I just think about that. So, you know, the leader that I wanted was someone who understood that sometimes I have bad mental health days. Um, I didn't have that, but my staff do now. So whenever they're like, "Oh, I'm going through a hard time," it's very easy for me to sit there and say, "Okay, well, give me that work, and I'll take care of it. You go have your day off or, recuperate however you need to." And that's helped us maintain like a really nice level of happiness within the company, or at least I biasly like to believe that. Um, so yeah, I think it's just more or less just kind of coming down to what you want. If you're somebody who is running a team, then think about what kind of leader you want to become or what kind of leader that you wanted. And then you slowly just kind of mimic that. If there's a particular person that you want to like kind of emulate, well, what does that person do? Um, Start following those little things, just not fully. I would want you to find a way to make it yours, but like kind of yeah, kind of imitating or mimicking someone is a really great way like a great place to start, and that's kind of how I did it too, like a friend of mine was the one who took every 3rd Thursday off, and then eventually I heard him say that, and I was like, "Okay, I'm stealing that." Like, I like that idea. I want that. Um, so it's just a matter of just looking at other people for that inspiration.
Perfect, got it. Lovely. And also, I think that's a kind of reminder we all need it from time to time, and stay connected to why behind what you are doing. So, what's your vision for the next chapter of your journey, both personally and professionally?
Personally, I feel like I'm kind of pretty happy with everything for the most part. I've got great friends, good relations with my family. I'm very healthy. I work out pretty frequently. Um, yeah, overall, I think everything's pretty good on a personal front. Professionally, I want an acquisition. I want to sell and exit maybe within the next 5 to 10 years. And then what I do after that, I have no idea. But yeah, I know that I know that I want to have this company continue on after I've gone, and I know that an acquisition would be a really great way to kind of ensure that it does.
Hmm. Perfect. Perfect. That's great. Lovely. Great. So, Amit, this conversation has been fully kind of wisdom and inspiration. So, uh, you have shown us that a success isn't just about building a business, but it's about a growth, resilience, and creating that impact. So, um, for anyone who is listening who wants to learn more about or connect with you, where they can find you.
So I am the AdWords girl everywhere on the internet. LinkedIn and Instagram are my two platforms that I use more frequently. If you want to learn more about ads, actually, yeah, both of those accounts are probably a good place. LinkedIn, I feel like tends to get a little bit more
Yeah.
technical than Instagram does. So based on your level of understanding of ads, if you're looking to learn more, Instagram is a great beginner place, and LinkedIn is for maybe a little bit more advanced. If you, yeah, maybe a little bit more advanced. And then also my agency is called Hopskip Media, so we're hopskipmedia.com if you want to check us out there too.
Okay, that's really lovely. So, dear listeners, if you loved and resented this episode today, then share it with someone who could use a dose of inspiration. And do not forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and remember, that success isn't about the perfection, but it's about the persistence, passion, and the growth. So, until next time, take care of your mind, your life, and your dreams. So, till then, thank you so much.